Hello, welcome to this training session of Tekla structures. Today I'm going to show you another way of placing steel bars inside the reinforced concrete columns and pad foundations. I'm Maurice Dimba and welcome once again to this tutorial. If you take a look on the screen, you can see a pad foundation and a column base. Now this is where we want to place our steel bars. Then from there I'll show you how we can move further. It has taken this grayish color because I pressed Ctrl 2, but if I can take it back by pressing Ctrl 4, this is how it should look like. Ctrl 4, it should look like that. Now it is not transparent anymore, but I want to make it transparent so that I can be able to see whatever is happening inside. Now I can go ahead and press Ctrl 2 so that I can be able to see everything inside when placing my steel bars. Now I'll go straight to concrete right there. Inside the concrete menu bar, I'll be able to access the rebar toolbar here. Then I'll click on that drop down arrow here, right there. Then I'll go straight away to bar group. I'll click on bar group. Then after clicking on the bar group, first of all I want to change my XYZ to global. I'll come to view here, I'll come to work plane tool here, and I'll just place it anywhere. Right there, I'll right click and interrupt that. Then I'll zoom in out. Then I'll go back to concrete so that I can be able to access this rebar tool. I'll click on bar group. Then the moment you click on bar group, you can see at the bottom end here the Tekla structure. The program is saying pick the part to reinforce. First of all, I want to start with the pad section. Then I'll click on the section like that. Then you can follow also the instruction at the bottom end here. Pick the shape of the bar. I want to pick this shape. I want this shape. I'll snap on that spot. I want to snap on, I am snapping on that, but in fact I'm creating a U shape. I can snap on that spot. Then I'll go straight away and snap at this end. Then I'll press my milled button on the mouse. Then after pressing your milled button on the mouse, you can be able to go back and read the last instruction here is pick 2 points to indicate the range of reinforcement. Now I want this to move in this direction from this end to this end. There you are. I want first of all to lay my steel in that direction. I'll right click and exit. Then I'll press Ctrl and turn that round. This is not the way it should be, but we are still working on this. Don't worry. Wait, just watch and see how things are being done here. Then I'll go back and double click on this on these steel bars. I'll just zoom out just to create a space, or to just to create a space, and also to place it in a location that I'll be able to see whatever I'm doing while doing the changing the dimensions here. Now if you take a look here, we have a hook, and in this case we don't want to place. We just need a hook length, but we don't want this bending radius. What we'll do, I'll come to rebar group after double clicking on the steel bars. Then I'll come to under general here. I want to change the bending radius. The bending radius, I don't really need it. And after that I'll come to hook at start. I'll change these angles and the length of the bend. I'll come to hook type. I'll click no hook. I'll try and modify that. You can be able to see there's no hook at all, but we just have the bend of 24 millimeter radius. I'll come here again because I've just done at one end, but this end is still remaining. Now I'll come to hook at end. I'll do the same thing. I'll click on this custom hook and come to no hook, and I can go ahead and click modify. This is just the first step. We are going to the next step. Now we don't need all this steel, this total wastage of steel, and it is totally unnecessary to place this number of steel at the pad footing end. Now we are coming, I'll scroll down at the bottom end here. I'll scroll at the bottom end here, and under distribution we can be able to change this. The moment you come to creation method here and click this drop down arrow, under this you can pick the appropriate option for you. At the moment I'm using the equally distributed by number of reinforcing bar. Now I want to use this option, so I'll change the number of reinforcing bar here. I want to use just 6 of them. I'll click here, modify, and you can be able to see there are 6 here, and that is the second step. Now I want to lay the longitudinal ones. Now I'll go back where I was and I'd follow the same process. I'll close this, then I'll come back to toolbar here and click bar group. Then I'll go back and click on the part I want to reinforce. I'll click on that. Now I'll come back on this end. I'll come back on this end and click on at this spot. And create that U shape and snap on that spot, and I'll snap on that spot and snap on that spot. I'll press my middle button in the mouse, then I'll click 2 points to indicate the range of the steel reinforcing bar. Then I'll want to the range will be starting from this spot and this spot. There we are. You can see the moment you click on empty screen, all the selection will be deselected and you'll be able to see everything appropriately. Now under this we want to change the number of bars here. We'll double click on that. There are 2 things we want to change here. We want to change the number of bars and the bar size for both top and bottom. Now I'll come at the bottom end here. I want to give them 5. I want to just use 5 of them. Let me check that. Now I want to change the size of steel bar for both top and bottom. The top one has been selected, and I'll press Ctrl and also pick the bottom end one, and I'll wait for this rebar group dialog box to load. Then the next point, I'll come to general here. Under general here I'll be able to pick on I'll get the option of changing the bar size. I'll come under size here, then click this radio button here. This will take me straight to select the appropriate bar size. I want to use this grade H, but I'll use main bars 20. I'll click on that, then click OK. There we are. I'll click on empty screen just to deselect what has been selected right there. Now if you take a look here, all these still are intersecting, which is not appropriate. What we are going to do, we want to offset and differentiate the bottom and the top one. Now I'll double click once again. I'll double click on one of them, then I'll scroll down to cover thickness. Then I'll give this measurement. I'll change that to 40 instead of 30. 40 is still less. I'll give it 45. 45 will be appropriate. That will change. I give it 50. This will be okay. Perfect. Then I'll come here and press Ctrl, and I'll be able to turn this round, and you can see how this has been placed. Turn this round. Perfect. Now our next move will be very simple, and there's one thing I'm seeing here. We can do away with this end and still I'll click on that, right click and come to ungroup. Once I've clicked ungroup, I'll click on this end and delete that. I'll click on this end also and delete that. I will just need 3 here. Then I'll come and group all this. press Control and click and also I mean right click and come to group. I'll pick on this. Perfect. So whenever I pick on that, they're grouped now. Perfect. Now the next we are going to the column base, and the reason why I extended this column to the bottom end of our pad footing is just to give our rebar a profile to follow when laying the steel. Now that is another step. We'll go straight to rebar once again, and always don't forget to save your work. I'll click save there to save, at least to save whatever you've done. Even if power goes off, we have a place to pick up from. Now this is the column. This is the column I'm going to reinforce. I'll come to rebar here and click on rebar. I'll click on bar group. I'll press Control, and I want to turn this to a position that I'll be able to see it clearly, and when locating the points that I intend to reinforce. I'll come right there and click on that. Then I'll snap on that spot. I'll snap on that spot. I'll snap on that spot. Then come down here and snap on that spot. Okay, I'll come back again. I'll redo that. I'll come to rebar once again and pick on bar group. I'll click on the part I want to reinforce, and I'll give an orientation, or you can read the instruction there. Pick the shape of the bar. To finish, press the middle button on the mouse. Then I want to give the shape of the rebar. I'll snap on that spot, and I'll press my middle button on the mouse, and I want to give the direction in which I want my steel to be distributed to. I want the distribution to start from this end and go all the way to that end. That is the way I want it to be distributed. But the number is too much. I'll reduce this number. Just wait. Just continue watching and begin while I'm doing this. Now you can see there is a big offset from the column, and we'll adjust that to make sure that all the steel are within the designated area. Now I'll double click this first of all, just to offset this steel inside the column. Double click on it once again. I've done that. Now on the plane, I'll give it a negative offset here. I'll click on that. I'll close that. Let me just turn this round. If I turn this round, you can be able to see that it's away from the formwork by 50 millimeter. That's it. Now the next point, what we are going to do is to create the hooks down here, and I mean to create the bend down here. I'll double click once again and feed our bending radius. Under this rebar group properties, I'll come here. We have a bending radius of 70, and the size of the steel is 20. I'll come down here and hooks. Under hooks, I want a 90 degrees bend. This is at the start. At the start, I don't need it. I'll leave it at no hook. I need at the end here. At the end here, I'll give it that, and I'll click OK. You can see that, and also we can control or manipulate the length of this bend. You can change that here, but the moment you place the 90, you cannot be able to control this. To manipulate that, first of all, switch to customize to custom. Then you can change this to either 100. So if you click on that, you'll be able to see that that is changing. So when you go back to the default setting, maybe the uncontrolled one. So the moment you click on 90 degrees standard and click on this, it's actually changed to 200. No problem. Then I'll close this. Now the next step is to modify or to reduce these numbers of steel bars. What I'll do, I'll just scroll down here and I'll be able to change this down here. I just need 3 of these. I just need 3. I just need 3 of these. So I can turn this and see how these are laying have been placed inside the column. I'll close that. I'll close this. Then I'll do the same thing at this end. I'll come back to rebar right here and click on the column I want to reinforce. I want my bars to run from that end to this end, and I'll press my middle button on the mouse. Then I'll give the direction of distribution of the steel bars. I'll snap on that spot and direct it to that direction and snap on that spot. But the hooks are on the opposite direction. That should not be a worry. Just double click on the steel once again, and you can be able to change the angle. We can prefix this angle by 10 by negative. I'll come to customize, then change, then feed a negative sign there and click on that. That has changed to the direction of our choice. You can see that it has changed. Now the next step is just to ensure all the steel are located inside the reinforced concrete. I'll double click and come to this end, and I'll remove this a negative prefix to ensure all the steel are located or are placed inside the reinforced concrete. Now I want to mirror this to this end, but what I must put into consideration is the location or the placement of my XYZ axis. I'll come to view here, and I'll come to work plane tool. I want to change my work plane tool position here, or my XYZ position. Now I'll come here and pick on the steel I want to mirror on this side. I'll right click and come to special copy here, and I'll pick on mirror. Then I can snap on any straight edge, but the centers are shared with the column. I'll snap on that spot and click on that, and that will be mirrored at the other end. If I turn this, you can be able to see we have steel. If I hover my cursor here, you can see there's some steel clashing on this end. So what we'll do, we'll retain this and we will get rid of this and remain with this. But they are combined, they are grouped. So I can, if I try and delete everything will go. So what we are going to do is I'll click on this, then right click and I'll click ungroup. The moment I've clicked ungroup, I'll be able to delete now these ones. I'll be able to hover my cursor here. I'll be able to hover my cursor right there and delete that, and go the other end. I'll go this end and click on this and delete. Now I'll remain with this one. You can see that I'll remain with this. Now with this one, I'll change again the orientation of my XYZ. I'll snap right there, right click and exit, then come there, right click and come to special copy. I'll come to mirror, then I'll snap right there, then go all the way down to create a mirror line right there. I'll click here and copy that to the other end. Perfect. Now this and this, there we are. Perfect. Our next move now to place our ties or laser bars or stirrups. Now I'll come back to concrete here and click on rebar here. I'll click on rebar. Then we are going to use 2 ties here, 2 ties per set. I'll click on the part I want to place my ties. I want to start from this end, snap on that end, snap on this center, snap on that center, and snap on that center. Then I'll press my middle button on the mouse. Then I'll give the direction where I intend to place my rebars. Though I don't want my rebars to go all the way, my ties to go all the way to the pad footing. Now what I'll place a guiding point here, where I'll snap on this end and snap on that end to create a midpoint right there. So if you take a measurement here by clicking measure, if snap right there and snap right there, that is 500. 500 is slightly big. I'll come back and select on that, come to move spatial, I'll come to linear, and check the orientation of my XYZ. Y is facing up. Now I'll come to Y and prefix my offset dimension by 200 or 300. Then I'll click move. My point would have moved right there. I'll come back to point right there, come to point, I'll click on that spot and come all the way to this spot. I've located my midpoint. Now I'll go back to concrete right here. I'll come to rebar, I'll click on rebar group, then select the column I want to the column where I want to place my ties. I'll start placing my ties on that spot, on those locations. I'm targeting the middle points. I'll snap on that end, then press my middle button. Now pick 2 points to indicate the range to reinforce. I want this range from this spot to that spot. That is the range. But the way still are appearing is slightly ridiculous, but this should not worry you. We want to change everything to look more standard. We'll double click once again right there for us to manipulate how this appears. Now I'll come here and change my bending radius. I'll change my bending radius here to 20. I give it 20 right here, and come all the way to come all the way to hooks. To hooks here, hooks. I'll give it one. I'll give it a custom. The bend, I'll give it 50. 50 will be okay. The angle will be 135. I'll click OK. Still not responding, but we'll go straight to this one, the automatic one. I'll click on that and click on that. Then we'll go to the bottom end here and come to 135. The bending radius has been graded. To change that, we'll go further to go back to custom and change this to 20. Then this will change to 50. This one also will change to 50. This will change this to 50 also. Bending radius will be 20. We'll go ahead and press OK. And the next thing we'll be changing will change is the size of the steel, the steel size. Then we'll scroll down to cover thickness. I mean the distance from the formwork. Here we'll give it 30. We'll come back there. Once again, we want to change the size of the steel here. We'll come right there, and we want to use the H type, and we'll give it a tie size 12 and press that, modify. It has changed now. We come back here again and change this to 15. Give that 15. Perfect. Now if you turn this round, you'll be able to see it has been done appropriately. Perfect. Let's just turn this round so that we can be able to see this clearly. Now you can see the other end of the hook is long. Double click on that to make sure everything is uniform. We'll scroll down, and the length here should be 50, not 5. It should be 50. We'll change that. That will change to 50. Perfect. Now we'll click on empty screen just to remove the selection, or the active selection. You can see that already created. Now we'll go straight to the second tie. This is just the first tie. We're going to the second tie. Now we'll close this and come back to rebar here. I'll come to rebar and click on that, then click on the part to reinforce. I want to place my second tie, my second set here, and click on that, then press my middle button. Then I want it to run from this end to this end. It's not straight. I'll redo this once again. I'll come back to rebar and click on the rebar here. Then I'll snap on that spot, snap on this spot, snap on this spot, snap on this spot. Make sure you create a polygon, then snap on that spot. Press your middle button on the mouse. Then my middle point should be here. I'll go all the way to this spot just to define the direction of my reinforcement. So if I zoom in and out, I'll be able to see this clearly. It has been already set but not properly done. You can see that. You can see that, though there's another one I did previously, but I haven't deleted, but I'll delete it once we are done with this. Now we want to define or manipulate this or change this further. We'll double click on it, on this. Then everything will be the same, but what will be different is the cover thickness. Here will fit 30. Perfect. If you take a look close, take a closer look, you'll be able to see that. We can change also. We can also give it 25 and try if 35 is perfect. Now we'll zoom in just to show you what has been done. Now this, I'll click on empty screen, then turn this round like this so that you can be able to see whatever has been done. This is what we've created. This is what we've created. Perfect. Now we want to distribute this, or prior to doing that, we want to take our XYZ axis to a default position. Click it on that, right click and click interrupt just to exit from the we'll delete that. Then what we're going to do next is we want to make our column go up to 6 meters high. We'll double click on this column. Then under this dialog box, I'll come at the position here, then click on the top. We know at the moment it is at 0 level, and we want to change this to 6 meters high, and we'll click on that, and that will change to that length. It is now 6 meters high. 6 meters high, and if you take a look on our ties, a few, but we can increase the number of ties here by coming right here and clicking on one of them, the outer one. Then we wait for this rebar group dialog box to load. Then we scroll down to distribution here. Under distribution, you can feed here. We need 20 of them. We need 20 of that. Then click that, right click, and you can see that already increased, or the number of bars has been increased. I'll double click on the second tie, then scroll down I'll scroll down to distribution and I'll increase this to 20. There we are. I'll close this and make sure I've saved everything prior to distributing all these to other location of my grid. Now this is our reinforced column. You can see it. You can see that. If you can follow the same process, you can come up with a similar thing, which should not be a very hectic thing to do. If you can follow this tutorial keenly and then step by step, you can create this. Perfect. Now we can also mirror this at the end. We can click on this and we can click on this and this. We want to mirror these the other way around. But prior to doing that, we want to change our XYZ axis. We'll come to view here and come to work plane tool, and we'll place our work plane tool right there. Then we'll click or select the steel bars we want to mirror. Right click and come to spatial copy, then come to mirror. We want our mirror line to be right here. Then I'll snap right here, then go straight away and click copy and give it a go ahead. I'll give it a node right there by clicking OK. I'll press Control and turn this round, and you can see this has been created. You can mirror that, or you can just leave it the way it was before. Now this is how you can do it manually without using the other macros and applications and components. Now I'll press Control 4 just to make sure everything now is not transparent. I'll select everything here, but I want to combine these two. I want to combine the pad footing and the column. Now what I'll do, I'll click on this, then right click and come to cast unit. I'll pick R2. I'll want to add it to this. Then I'll click on empty screen. So whenever I press my Alt, then click in one of them, everything will be selected. Right there, I'll be able to copy all these to this area. Right there, I want one there, I want another one here, I want another one here, and also I'll come here and select everything. Then I'll press Control and click on the grid just to unselect the grid. Then I'll right click and come up and copy this. Though you can copy this by using spatial copy. Then let me just do that manually so that you can follow this keenly. Then snap on that spot, go all the way to the last end or the last position. Click on empty screen to remove that selection. Now these are my columns already reinforced. So if I press Ctrl 2, you'll be able to see all these columns. Let me try and filter this. Let me just pick on show only rebars. Just bring it up. That's enough for today, and the rest will pick on the next presentation. Let me just bring this close so that you can see this clearly. This is our reinforcement. This is how it has been done, and this is how it looks when we view it from the top end. We've used 2 sets of ties in each and every column. So this is as simple as that, if you can follow it keenly. And we'll wind up at this spot. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are new to this channel, or you've bumped on this video for the first time. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm Morris Dimba, and let's meet on the next presentation, and bye bye.